Test, test, test. All right. I guess let's get started. I'll bring you down here because I am sort of slouched in my chair, just sort of chilling. Let me get that timer running, and we're rocking and we're rolling, baby. So it's the clowns. It's about clowns. Yeah. So what I've got here is I've got a bunch of filters on the vocals. Soundly place it specifically. Literally just the space of medium outside to make it feel the way that it feels, and then they open a door and then they come out into the real world and they're like, oh, hello.
I fucking hate my life. I come here.
So what we'll do is we'll have a listen to it full way through, and then we'll get started with the mix downs and whatnot.
I fucking hate my life. I come here, I come down from Chicago, come down here to perform. My family came here from Evelina. We had nothing in our pocket, huh? I'm a clown for fuck's sake, huh? I used to be working in a steel mill, now I make children laugh. I fucking hate children. I can't fucking stand them. They look at me like I'm some kind of deadbeat joke, huh? I don't fucking like that.
Well, hello, boys and girls. But what you need to remember, boys and girls, is that if you do get out of your seats, I'll find you. Do you understand? Stay in your seats. Equipment for you. This is a dildo. No, sorry, that's not part of the act. That's for later. Anyway, what else have we got here? We've got a strap on. No, sorry, it's another part. It's something else for later. If you stick around, you might be able to catch the other acts at the end. Come to my trailer. Just come to the trailer.
Alright, so that's the song. Looks like we've got vocals here first, but actually we want to start with the drums. I'm going to put the vocals in between the drums and the duck and turn that off, turn that off. Looks like we've got automated duck, which is actually quite interesting. Let me sort of see what that looks like. What's going on here then? Okay, is this the in-betweens? Yeah, it's the in-betweens. All right, that's cool. That's cool. Just do that so that we've got it forever. Okay, so yeah, we've got -11 is a big fucking drop, and -8. Okay, but That's fine. I don't know why I would do that and not just do it to the intent verse instead of the whole thing. I mean, there's only just this little synth here. There's just that, right? There's just that, and I could adjust the volume independently anyway. Okay, whatever. I mean, right now is the mix down portion. I can still do that right now. You know, nothing's stopping me from doing that. Now we've already got. This seems fine. A little bit of saturation. Everything seems fine here, to be honest. So let's get started in Ha. Let's get started in here. All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna start looping. Let's loop this section. Fuck it. Gonna turn this on, but I'm gonna put this on to -10. Get it real quiet. Let's have a listen to that. There's just the kick and the reference playing right now. Just the kick and the reference. Okay. We're going to need to up that to -5. It might get a bit loud. I'll turn down the volume for you guys a bit. Let's give it a go. Should have turned down the volume for myself as well. But that's all part of the learning, maybe. Honestly, this could sit at 0. Yeah, it'll sit at 0. Literally the quietest I can make it. So I'm looking right here, I'm looking at the peak of the EQ. I know that the kick is going to be around 100 Hz anyway, so it's going to be around here. I'm looking for where the peak is of that kick. This is the kick, this is the only thing that's playing, this and the white noise, pink noise, sorry. And so yeah, I'm just trying to bring the kick volume down to where it's just about perceived, a little over perceived, because I want the kick and the snare to be the loudest parts. Vocals can be relatively loud as well. You can see there is slight movement every time a kick comes in. We'll leave it sitting there. I think that's a good volume. Next up, we've got the snare, and I'm assuming that the snare layers are already a good sort of volume in relation to each other. Let's have a listen to just the snare on its own. I like that. This is the snare on its own without the snare layer. And with the snare layer, just the snare layer then. And all together. Barely a sound. I think that's a bit better. Yeah, I don't know why it was so quiet before, but it was. And let's have a listen to this area as well. Yeah, that's fine. So I can adjust all of them because I'm going to assume that this is -1 as well. This is okay, -8, but that's the in between them. So we need the ratio of those to be the same anyway. That's all good. All I need to do is just adjust the snare volume, overall snare volume. Now that I've got the ratio of the snare and the snare layer to where I want it to be. Make sure there's nothing on this chain that's affecting anything, and there isn't anything on that chain affecting anything. We've probably got a saturator. Yeah, we've got a low end cut. That's great. We should have a low end cut here, and we do. That's perfect. Let's have a listen and adjust it accordingly. It'll probably be roughly the same sort of volume as the kick, but it depends. Let's have a listen. We can see the peak for it is here and here. Normally it's around 200, but there's nothing there. So yeah, we've got here and here and here, little bits throughout here of the hi-hat part of the layer. We're just going to adjust it. just about there. It's tight, tight, tight. I think it's kind of perfect. Now let's have a listen to these hi-hats. I want to make sure that the hi-hats, everything is a good volume in relation to itself, because as I turn the volume up for all of them, I want to make sure that that is a-okay. Now this song has got a lot of layers in it, right? There's a lot of layers. There's over 52 layers, there's 60 layers, yeah? So I want to kind of make sure that these hi-hats are individually where they should be, because if they're not, then I can't change the overall volume of the hi-hats. I'll need to change the individual volume of each hi-hat. We can see that we've got compression going on the trigger, so that's underneath the kick and the snare, for all of these hi-hats, but for different amounts. So this one has got that amount of compression, whereas this one's got significantly more compression. This is infinite compression all the way down to minus 19.2 decibels. That means every time a kick and a snare happens, these hi-hats and these hi-hats, they both duck to around minus 19 decibels, 100%. And this one, the crash is just completely infinite. It disappears. There is no audio from this channel, from this track, when the kick and snare hits at all. So let's have a listen to the ratio of these hi-hats and make sure everything is clean and hitting where they should be. So we've got some low-end information, which I don't think we should have. So we can see there's no EQ there, no EQ there, no EQ there, and there is an EQ, but it's not activated. So what we're going to do is we're just going to chuck an EQ here, clean it up ourselves. And I don't think that the ratio of what they're on right now is very good. So I'm going to quickly save, collect all and save, because this specific project has a problem. It crashes a lot. That's why I'm saving it. Yeah, I've lost the whole thing before, and I do not want to lose the whole thing again. It is very sad. All right, so let's have a listen to the individual parts then instead. Now that I cannot even hear. I can't hear it. It's because there is no sound. Okay, so that's that. That's that. That's that. Okay, that's that. They are all, you know, cymbals, but they do have different areas in the headspace. So I don't really need this, but I am going to use it because I do want to make sure that there is no low end hit. You can see there's low end rumble, don't need that. We do need this because something is using that, but what we just 100% do not need is sub frequencies going on in our hi-hat. So what I'm going to do is take all of these and unfreeze them and then get started with some EQs. I'm going to make each of these cymbals have its own space. Now I need to make sure that, yeah, I thought that might be the case. I was hoping that here we'd have some sort of cut to make sure that we can hear the high end, but maybe there is already a cut. Hang on. Now, look, we can see that there is information from here, 10K and above. It's quite less, but there is still information there. So I'm going to literally remove that information. I'm going to do a relatively sharp cut. It's going to be about there. We could do it right there. About there is barely noticeable, but it's going to clean up the area for our hi-hats very nicely, and that's very, very important. So I'm going to, once again, shut these ducts off, and we're going to just do the hi-hats. We're going to start with open hi-hat, and we're going to see where we're at, where our peaks are, and all of that fun stuff, really. So we've got a peak right here. But what is the audio that we are perceiving the most? It is a relatively smeared frequency range at the high end. But I would argue we've got decent energy right there on the 10K. Yeah, that to me is, you know, peaking out. Now, what I don't need is to make it peak. I don't need that to peak there, yeah? I actually need it to duck. Now, it's not going to duck there for this synth, for this sound, but it's going to duck there in general. Now this, I don't think I need that information at all. In fact, let's see what happens. Let me just turn that 3 off and turn that 2 off, just for now. Let's hear what happens if we do cut out this peak here, this peak at around 500. Yeah, one could argue that this can be the punchy part of it. This is okay in this section of the song, but it is not needed in this section of the song. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply automate it. So right there, and I'm going to have this there. I'm not even going to have it peaking, just going to have it there. Because we don't need it. And I know that we don't need it because I know that throughout the other synths, we've got a lot of information in this region and I don't want them clashing. This will make it stand out. This will make it so fucking clean. Now, this is only going to be activated during the drop. So let's automate that. So I'm going to press A and 3 filter on A, that's that. I'm going to drop it down and that's just on there, but off there. And we can see this area right here is another area where I know that, you know, the drop stops and it's like a build-up, it's a build-up section. For some reason I've done 1, 2, 3, but whatever. And so yeah, so over here we can hear, apologies, over here we've got this. We've got low end here. And then as soon as it gets to, apologies, as soon as it gets to 3, it cuts that out. It cuts that out directly. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to copy this. I'm going to delete automation, remove that, and keep this. And I'm going to create another one here. And this is just to identify where the peaks are, yeah? So this one's got a little peak there. And we're treating this one as a peak because that's one of the punchy parts of this one. But that could be a peak as well. Look at this area. Yeah, I would say over here, to be honest, we could choose this one or this one. Let's go with that one. And again, we're just going to have that. And we're going to duck it slightly. And we're going to copy it. And this is the EQ for here and for here and here. Bing, bada, boom. Now at the end, we're going to move the compressors on all of these to the front, but we're not going to do that just yet because I want to keep cleaning up. So right here, we're not adding any peaks. We're reducing frequencies. We're not making anything louder or more. I mean, technically, I think we have made this part a little louder just because we've done a cut and it's always going to be a little louder, but otherwise I think it's fine. Let's have a listen to this one. So this is multiple different hi-hats. So let's try to identify where the peaks and troughs are for this one. Now I don't need to take out the low end because it doesn't matter too much because we've already taken the low end out here, yeah? Now right there we can see this is definitely a high. And there. We could probably fuck with right there as well. Yeah, so let's call that 13, okay? And we're going to duck it, and we're going to increase the Q. And there was another one right here at 5,000, 5K. And we're going to go like that, and we're going to take that, and we're going to put it there, and we're going to put it there, and we're going to put it there. Bang, bang, bang. So slowly through this method, and it is a slow method, but it's a method that is, in my opinion, worthwhile. Because when this is done, each of these hi-hats will be so damn clean, and they're going to be each hi-hat, despite them being hi-hats, despite them being cymbals, despite them being within the same frequency range of each other, they've got little dips where others are more pronounced. And so they're all making space for each other. Let's have a listen to this one. This one's got some low energy. It's almost like a clap. That's a 1K. That's 11K. So we're going to do 2 because there is pretty much 2, to be honest. 1 there. And 1 there. And we're going to reduce it just by a few decibels. And then we're going to take it and put them elsewhere once again. I don't need that. Shit, yeah, we do. This had a whole purpose. This was a whole thing. Okay. Put that there. Put it there. And put it there. And now finally, I may have made some mistakes here, but at the end of the day, it is a net positive of cleanness here. And because the problem with this is that right now, the way that I'm doing it is I'm assuming and almost hoping that none of these cymbals have peaks where any of the others do, which is simply just a guess, you know? They absolutely could. But hopefully they don't, and if they don't, then it's going to be quite good. Yeah, it's literally right there as a peak. Reduce that. I take it away. I put it here, make it smaller. Put it here, make it smaller. I'm going to copy it as a small one so that I don't need to keep making it smaller. There we go. So this one is ducking under 1, 2, 3. This one's ducking under 1, 2, 3. This one's ducking under 1, 2, 3. And this one is ducking under 1, 2, 3. So they're all ducking under each other. Now, I'm not going to do it before and after because that's just so long to turn on and off for all of the EQs, but this is it now. It is a bit long to turn them all off, but we can try, to be honest. Let me group these. Hey, this one should have 3 here. Oh no, okay. There's something that is missing. well, this has got all three. So I know it's not that one. I know that these two are these two. So, bring that down. So, 357. Okay, it's just this that it's missing. Yeah, it's missing this, so I'm going to take that. Oh, it's because I did Command X instead of Command V, because I am a silly Billy. All right, but that's fine. I'm going to group them together. I'm going to group them together. I'm going to group them together. All right, so let's start with a before. This is before. And I'll try to very quickly do an after. Try to remember how that sounded. And then after. You can hear every element. You can hear this. Apologies. All right. Let's start fucking with the levels now. I don't think that they are in good levels on their own. I think it is better to do the levels individually, because overall they're not good levels in regards to each other. So yeah, I'm going to do them individually, and it's going to get noisy. So we can see that these hi-hats are over there, but we can hear them. What you need to remember is that we don't need all of these levels to be at that point, because if they're all at that point, that means that they're just as loud as they can possibly be. We don't need them all to be loud as possible. We need them to be where they should be. We need them to be where they're going to sound the best. And a good way, for example, if something is in the mid-range, and there's two things in the mid-range, I don't bring them both up to that same point, because they'll be competing with each other. I bring one up that I want to be the biggest thing up to the highest point that I can, and then the second thing, I keep that relatively low. So in comparison, that main one sounds even bigger, even louder. Just like when you're painting a mountain, you put some little trees there to make the mountain look even bigger. It gives you a sense of scale. Okay, so I have done that, but after we've leveled everything to reference, that is when I think is a good idea. It's a good time to then reduce stuff. We're not going to increase any volumes, but we can reduce some volumes to make other things sound louder. So we're going to turn off the reference, and now we're going to listen to just the drums in total. We're going to have a listen to how this sounds together. I think it sounds pretty good. Now, that is just the drums. You know, there's much more to go. So let's get moving. So I think next up is the vocals, and for the vocals, generally speaking, we have it the same sort of amplitude. Okay, we have it the same sort of amplitude, or perceived amplitude, I should say, as the drums, right? Because I want the drums to be the loudest in the mix, but the vocals also need to be relatively loud as well to pierce through everything. But the ha, this stuff doesn't need to be that loud, and I'm going to be adjusting that accordingly, probably after. Let me make a note, actually. Just hi-hats after, and has in Vox. Okay, let's get started with the used. Now that's going to be over here, because it's not anywhere else. Well, it is over here, and there are drums there, to be fair, so maybe I do it there because that's a relatively relevant place. There's no vocals there. There is right at the end here, but...
Stay in your seat, do you understand? Stay in your seat, do you understand?
Yeah, very loud. Let's turn on the noise. Okay, let's turn some volumes down, because that was ridiculous. I'm so sorry. So we can hear those vocals relatively clearly, which is good, but obviously I think it is a bit too loud. So we're going to start it over here. Now the problem is, that I can find, is that the volume of it over here
Evelina, we have nothing in our pocket, huh? I'm a clown.
is different to over here.
Well, hello, boys and girls.
Now this isn't... It is a compressor problem, because I can put this compressor after that and that should fix it. Let's have a listen.
I can't fucking stand them. They look at me like I'm some kind of deadbeat joke, huh? And I don't fucking like that.
Well, hello, boys and girls.
I can't fucking stand them. They look at me like I'm some kind of deadbeat joke, huh? And I don't fucking like that.
Well, hello, boys and girls.
That's good.
I can't fucking stand them. They look fake, huh? I used to be working in a steel mill. Now I make children laugh. And I fucking hate children. I can't fucking stand them. They look at me like I'm some kind of deadbeat joke, huh? And I don't fake, huh? I used to be...
Now, they are also in different frequency areas, but it is what it is. I'm going to see what I can do, and we can always adjust after anyway. So be prepared. We're going to have a bunch of noise right now. So yeah, apologies for that. Cannot even see it. It's probably these things here, these little peaks. That should do it. And now let's do these has and whatnot. Now, this is just the gentle vocals of this, right? And again. There should be reverb on this. It doesn't look like there is. I'm going to add... We've got reverb in general? We don't. We've got literally fucking nothing. So I'm going to put a little bit of reverb on that, and that's going to help solidify it into the mix a bit. In order to do that, normally it's a good idea to have everything playing, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And this is going to sound a bit whack, because the drums have been mixed, but nothing else has been. So apologies for what you're about to hear. Alright, cool. So yeah, I'm going to adjust these has, the ha, and so forth accordingly, using reference, the pink noise. And I'm going to probably adjust them after, because this is one of those things that I need relatively quiet, not at the maximum volume that it can be. So we can see these vocals are here. Ha, oh, full, ha. Okay, so we've got ha, full, ha. That's what we're looking at. Bring it down. Now, I've lowered it lower than the noise. I did it to my ears there. All right, and now this is just the sound of doors being opening, which I think is a really cool concept. I can't see the peaks for this, but it exists, I can hear it. About there, I could be wrong, we can always adjust it later on. So let's have a listen. Now that we've done the Vox, let's have a listen to that in with the hi-hats and the drums.
I fucking hate children. I can't fucking stand them. They look at me like I'm some kind of deadbeat joke, huh? I don't fucking like that.
Well, hello, boys and girls.
Arguably, the Vox is too quiet, which is very interesting. Very, very interesting, considering, I mean, the kick is like -17, whereas the vocals is -7. But then again, you've got to see that these peaks are different, and then we've got heavy, yeah, look, we've got compression down to 26, 6.3 to 1 ratio, and then only 9.5 decibels raised back up again. So yeah, there's a reason. But these has, I think, are okay. Let me double check the door opening. That should be fine. Yeah, we can always adjust the overall, because I think that the sound overall is fine. It's this that needs adjusting. But let's maybe we do that now, and then I can bring this down. So it's 9.56. If I bring that up to 10, that is -0.5 roughly. All right, and if I bring that up to 16, that is -6.5, and that should work out.
I fucking hate children.
Yeah, that does work out. And then I can always just adjust this later on in the mixing process. Now, let's get into the duck section. Now these, in theory, should all be the same sort of, needing to be the same sort of volume. What I do need to do, okay, cool, we've got that. And I'm going to solo this time, and this is the sub roll. Let me make sure that this is just sub frequencies. It is. Very good. I mean, I suppose it would make sense to do the intent verse next, which is here, in chronological order. But we're not going in chronological order, are we? We're going in order of just down the mix. Quick stretch. Oh. Quick blackout. And we're back in. All right. So we do have sub. I'm going to turn off the sub and make sure that there is no sub frequencies going on here then. there is, unfortunately, which leads me to believe that I think it's just this that's played. No, there is extra stuff going on here. No, nothing there. Nothing there. There is stuff going on here. And maybe that's what's causing the sub-frequencies. It is not. Nothing going on there, nothing going on there. There's nothing going on there. Yeah, so there shouldn't be any, I mean, what's that? Yeah, nothing going on there either. So there shouldn't really be any sub-frequencies going on right now. Right? Because if this is the sub-roll, which is the sub-frequencies, has been turned off, then there shouldn't be any sub-frequencies. But there is, which means that I need to remove it. So we can come over here, double fuck. It's the only thing that's really playing because we've got sub-roll turned off anyway, like I said. We're going to go over to EQ8 and we're going to open that up and we're going to have a look. Terrible. All of that sub frequencies, naughty, naughty. Let's cut it around to 80. Yeah, alright, you know what? Does the job. We could do it on duck. I'd love to do it on duck, but obviously we've got the sub frequencies there on the duck, so we can't do that on duck. So yeah, we're gonna have to put it on every single item. But thankfully, it's call and response, so we don't really need to separate the frequencies, though there is the horn playing, but nothing else plays. So I don't really know why I've got, am I right in saying nothing else plays? Yeah, nothing else plays, so I don't need that there. Nothing else plays, so I don't need that there. Wait, hang on. Yeah, there's literally just, oh, hey. There's literally nothing playing there, so I can remove that. Horns, we've got something going on throughout the whole thing, but we've got nothing there either, so we can remove that. And there we go. For this part, yeah, we've got violin stabs. We can make this mix very fucking clean and make this song very fucking loud and powerful. It's going to it's a bit of a beefy one, to be honest with you. This one, there is quite a bit to do, to be honest. So I'll probably stop once this stream reaches an hour so I can spend some time with Tam. But we'll do what we can until then. Now, there's no point adjusting the volumes just yet, because I want to see what frequencies the horn is at and the violin stabs are at, because they are layered with these synths. Yeah? And so what I could do actually is take all of these synths and group them up. And then instead of having that on there, I could just put it on the entire thing. And I can call it drop synths. Great. And I save it. I'm going to collect all and save just for safety again as well. 1 moment. Critical damage, 91%. That is absolutely excellent. Lovely. All right. So now we've got that. With this same EQ, I'm going to be ducking frequencies that the horn is at and the violin stabs are at, which there isn't any plugins on there right now, but that's just because I had to freeze everything, unfortunately. Yeah, because this shit kept crashing. So we're going to put EQs on here because this is layered with the synths and these are layered with the synths as well. We're going to sort of see what happens. Now I need to just check because I think when these come in, it's actually quite empty. It is, it's empty. There's not bass hitting during that time. There's a little bit of space when the violins are coming in. Not these ones though. These ones are layered on stuff. But this one doesn't matter. That one doesn't matter too much. So that's good to know. These tails are kind of annoying, but it doesn't matter. It's something that I need to remember. So we're going to go over here and we're going to just learn what frequencies are peaking. So we can see the frequencies. Let's have a listen and try to focus our ears on what the most important frequencies are here. It's this one, to me. Yeah. So that's around here, which is 840. We can see the frequencies over here. So if I were to hold this again, it's 840-ish, yeah? 840, 830, whatever, right? 840. So we're going to go over here and we're going to turn off all of these other stuff, but we do want this one. We're going to bring this to 840 hertz. If it's a little under, it's a little under, that's okay. I'm going to decrease the gain and I'm going to increase the Q relatively decently. I'm not going to decrease the gain too much because we want it to still pierce through the mix. And about that, and now what we can do is bring that down slightly because it's at 831 now. That's perfect because 840 is right here, and that's still pretty narrow, and it goes down relatively low. So that works. That absolutely works, and that's going to make space for the horn now. Now next up, we're not going to look at this violin stab because it's not necessary, but we are going to look at the Q violin stab, which I think means quiet violin stab. But we still need it to pierce through the mix. So we're going to have a listen to that and see what frequencies are kicking around there. So once again, it looks like it might be the same sort of frequency range because it's definitely the same notes, but could be that. Could be that. Not that. Okay. Let's call it this one, just for clarity, because the horns, I know, are around that frequency anyway. So 1.29 hertz, 1.29 kilohertz, sorry, is what we're looking for. So we're going to turn that on and we're going to bring that over to 1.29 kilohertz. 1.29 kilohertz, there we go. And then we're going to duck it. Same thing. Literally just the same thing. We're not going to duck it that much. Duck it just a smidgen. And this one also needs to be just a smidgen. And that will make a bunch of space for the rest of the synths. We can probably play it all together, and it might not make a huge difference, but let's have a listen. So right here, there is the violins playing. We can hear it very clearly. Now without the EQing, with the EQing. That allows us to reduce the volumes of the violins if we want to, and still have it pierce through the mix just as much as it would. Yeah, without just as much as it would if we didn't do this, we would have the volumes louder, right? So this allows us to have the volume quieter and still have it perceived as equally as loud. Yes, we can make this shit fucking loud. Fucking loud. Really fucking loud. Now this mix down process that I'm doing, I'm going to need to do it to all of this stuff that is in the intent verse, because that's going to clean it all out. What up, Ultra Flare GD? How's it going, bro? Just fair warning, I'm probably going to go in about 10 minutes because I've been streaming for about an hour. I want to spend some time with my wifey. I think she's out of bed now. Let's get started with the noise again. So unfortunately, you came just in time to listen to this. Sorry, you came just in time to listen to this. Lovely. I need to turn that volume down. All right, so we're going to loop this. These should be, in theory, all the same volume, but they're not all the same perceived volume, which means I need to reduce it. yeah, I need to reduce it per. So I've got the noise playing, and that's going to help me do this. I'm going to start with this sound right there. I'm literally starting with the toppest most track. How's it going, Ultra Flare GD? I'm gonna call you Ultra. How you doing, bro? So we can see that this is peaking there. If I turn that up, you can see exactly where the peaks are. So we're going to reduce that down. There should be everything playing, including drums. There is, but we can barely hear the drums, which means we need to adjust our ears. I'm doing okay. I just came back from a slump in music producing. Oh, damn. Been losing motivation. Damn, son. Well, if it helps, this is something that I do to help me with motivation. Don't make music to finish a song. Don't even finish a song. Just open up. For me, I like to open up Ableton and I open up Serum. And for that session, I'm saying I'm not going to work on a song. I'm just going to fuck around on Serum. If I make a new preset for a synth that I like, then great. If I don't, doesn't matter. I'm just fucking around in Serum. By doing that, you're learning. You're getting better at that plugging anyway. And two, you might just spark inspiration and want to create a song and finish a song all in one. That's happened to me multiple times. I've started and finished songs within 20 minutes because of that sometimes. But I've also spent hours just on Serum making a bunch of presets that I never use. And that's A-okay as well, because it's only making you better. When I can't think of something, I try to remake an entire song. Yeah, for me, I find that so boring, which I just did yesterday. Yeah, fair. I remade, when my mentor, Alicia, she's a tech house producer, for our collaboration, she gave me homework to remake a drop of a song to get better at creating tech house drop synths, like bass lines. And so I chose 3 songs and I remade those 3 songs. It was quite fun, just the drop, but the rest of it is just so unenjoyable. That's what I'm trying. Yeah, fair. But also, you got to remember, it's helpful relatively for different areas. But in terms of creativity, I like fucking around on Serum because that allows me to make new things. It allows me to try new things. If I'm copying someone else, I'm not trying new things, though it does bring your standard up to their standard. And it can make you do new things to you because it might be a technique that you've never done before, but you know that you need to do it to make that sound that they've made. I do this to learn different drop structures. Yeah. Learning different structures is very, very helpful for that. So I'm doing the mix down right now for this song, and I'm adjusting this volume so that it doesn't peak too much through the mix. We can see the frequency of this is right there. And there's this happening as well, so what I might do is close that, and just silence it all. So nothing should be making sounds right now, except for me. Alright, there we go. Now we know where the frequencies are. We've got here, we've got a bit of here, and we've got a bit of here. We're going to bring that down. Ah, this is actually pink noise. Perfect energy throughout all of the octaves. Lovely. So good for mixing. Now, 25.3 is what I brought it down to, and there's a good chance that all of them are going to be wanting to be brought down to that same volume. But let's explore. Nope, I was wrong. This one's 14.3. This might just sound absolutely fucking atrocious. I might have just fucked this up because I don't see how this one, where they were both the same volume before, can be this volume now. What the fuck? Alright, let's try without the white noise. Let's have a listen to that. Alright, look, I'm just going to trust the process because we can adjust shit after. Maybe I shouldn't trust the process, but I'm going to. Yeah, because we can always adjust things after. Can't we, Ultra? Of course we can. Oh, let's get the white noise back in. We can see the peaks are over here. We've got some rumbling over there around 100 Hz as well. Yeah, I think I'm fucking this up. I think I'm fucking this up quite heavily. Maybe it's because I had a bunch of triggering notes there. Yep. All right, let's save it, but that one's 14.3. Let's give it a go. All right, all right, have fun in Vital, bro. Enjoy. That one, for some reason, can be quite loud, okay? Ah, gotta trust the process. Alright. Okay, sure. Also, something that I need to remember is that depending on where the frequencies are mainly boosted, a lot of these are boosted around the 100 Hz. For example, this one, you see around here, that's the loudest part of the sound. But some of them might be up here where the loudest part of the sound is, and that will mean different things. To 17 as well. All right, sure. And let's loop that bad boy and let's have a listen and work on that. I'm literally not looking at these at all when I'm doing it. I'm looking at the EQ and I'm using my ears. Very, very interesting that they just happen to be lining up on the same sort of numbers. See, this one, the loudest part is over here, but also peaks here, but they're also like the same sort of, they're already built like a pink noise. Awesome. Let's bring it on over here. That'll do. And last one before we move on to the sub. See, because of the shape of this, these are all like the same sort of levels, which means over here is going to be the loudest part. Because it should be going down as you go higher in frequency, volume. Out there. And now we'll move on to the sub roll. Alright, cool. So that is the drop done. In theory, it should sound okay, but it might not. I think the sub is too loud. Sub stabs. Whoops. Oh, hang on. I've not adjusted that. Okay, so we've got sub roll and we've got sub stabs. My bad, my bad. We keep working. Might be, I mean, it looks like it's the same sort of amplitude, to be honest, so I could probably get away with minus 8.9 as well, but it's better to do it just in case. Sorry for the loudness. I feel like 8.9 might be too loud, to be honest, with my... so let's give it a go though. I can definitely make the mid-range much louder. But otherwise, it's not too bad. Not too bad, I think, in my opinion. Yeah, not too bad in my opinion. We could even just control it here. What is that synth that's playing right now? This is a good volume. Yeah, it does sound like they're all different volumes when they could be all the same volume. Interesting that two of them are literally the exact same volume. And these two are almost the exact same volume. Yeah, same with that one. Same with this one, 14.2. Jeez. It makes me feel like maybe it's not a mistake. Maybe they should be that volume, but no. I mean, you got to use your ears. You got to use your ears, and realistically, they're fucking too quiet, aren't they? All right, let me adjust this, and then I'm going to be done for the day. Just because my ears, you know, it's been a little bit of a while. Actually, I can do something that I heard about, and I've made my own little thing where this swaps the left and right ears so that it's almost refreshing your ears. Weird. All right. Gotta try to find a good level. I think it might be 14.7, honestly. Just using my ears. Yeah, I'm fairly certain these subs are too loud, to be honest. So that's the drums, and we'll bring this into it. That's truly the loudest I can make it. That's the absolute loudest I can make it. So I'm going to go minus 11.4, and we're just going to bring everything to 0. And that might screw everything up. Let's find out. I know I just put in a lot of effort to match it to pink noise, but sometimes you got to roll with the punches. And I think that these subs are too loud. There we go, because I want the subs to be quieter than the kick. There might be a bit of an interaction. Let's see, what tail have I left for the kicks? So we can see that's the actual length of the kick, right? Whereas I've made it only duck up to there, which makes it quite clean, but there's going to be some issues when I try to increase the volumes and really push the sound in the mastering phase. But it is what it is. All right, let's have a listen now that I have adjusted the drop synths all to 11.4. Wait, hang on. Yeah.
But what you need to remember, British listeners, is that if you get a
That's literally the absolute maximum possible volume I could put it. Anything more would be terrible. Right here it's teetering on being bad, in my opinion. I'm just gonna see where Tam is. I'll be right back. She's chilling. Alright, let's think. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Alright, let's move on to the intent verse. Now, all of these are turned on. Yep, which means I should turn all of them off. We're going to get the noise on. We're going to bring this over to here. And yeah, we're just gonna get started with it, really. I have left a lot of these with sub-frequencies in just to add a little warmth to make it feel a certain way. Yeah. Hopefully it's not going to be too much of an issue, but we'll see. I think the ratio of those two are probably fine, but we can always adjust it and have a look at it later. So now we're looking at just fuck face far, whatever that is. Alright, that's good. I'm just going to have a listen to hear what this actually is. Cool. Alright, that works, that's fine. Alright, let's have a listen to this. Organ, very quiet. I think I've already got a decent mix down for all of these, but let's work on it anyway. We can see the peaks here, nice and clearly, nice and easily. Right about there, let's move on to the horn. I think that's quite good. Let's move on to the violin stabs. Let's keep the ratio of them the same. Now, it is incredibly quiet, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chuck on some motherfucking gain. I'm going to chuck on 10 decibels of gain and bring that down and keep working on it. So what we're really looking at is this little bit right here. Awesome. And now, like I say, there is absolutely an opportunity here for me to EQ all of these different elements so that they've all got space, but I think not EQing it makes it more authentic to what it needs to be. I need it to sound like it's in a circus, and when you're live in a circus, each instrument's not going to be EQ'd separately. It's going to be noisy, it's going to be messy, it's going to be like this, and that's the sort of plan. That's why I've not EQ'd them to remove sub bass or anything like that. I've kept it quite warm, I've kept it quite messy. sort of on purpose. Ooh, that's quite quiet. Damn. Alright, bring on the brass. Bruh. Super quiet. This is a texture rather than a flavor. Alright, let's have a listen to that. It might have been absolutely fucked. It's a bit of a difficult one for me, to be honest. My ears are getting perhaps a bit fatigued, who knows?
I come down from Chicago, come down here to perform. My family came here from Evelina. We had nothing in our pocket, huh? I'm a clown for fuck's sake, huh? I used to be working in a steel mill, now I make children laugh. I fucking hate children. I can't fucking stand them. They look at me like I'm some kind of deadbeat chick.
Yeah, alright. That adjustments need to be made here.
My family came here from Evelina. We had nothing in our pocket, huh? I'm a clown for fuck's sake. Working in a steel mill, now I make children laugh. I fucking hate children. I can't fucking stand them. They look at me like I'm some kind of deadbeat joke, huh? I don't fucking like that.
Well, hello, boys and girls.
I come down from Chicago, come down here to perform. My family came here from Evelina. We had nothing in our pocket, huh? I'm a clown for fuck's sake, huh? I used to be working in a steel mill, huh? I come down from Chicago, come down here to perform. My family came here from Evelina. We had nothing in our pocket, huh? I'm a clown
Let me loop that area.
here from Evelina. We had 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 here from Evelina.
About there is good. Brass stabs. Bass stabs. Damn.
My family came here from Evelina. We had come down here to
That's more of a feeling than anything else.
My family came here from Evelina. We had come down here to perform. My family came here from Evelina. We had come down here to perform. My family came here from Evelina. We had come down here to perform. My family came here from Evelina. We had come down here to perform. My family came here from Evelina. We had nothing in our pocket, huh? I'm a clown for fuck's sake, huh? I used to be working in a steel mill.
It's good.
I fucking hate children. I can't fucking stand them. They look at me like I'm some kind of deadbeat joke, huh? I don't fucking like that.
Well, hello, boys and girls.
Now, we've got volume automation here, right? What it should be, what is that? Minus 11.1. We need that on the hi-hats as well, unfortunately, because that's a lot, you know? I might be able to, and I hope I can, just... Oh, can I just copy that area? Cool. Might be able to, and I hope I can, just copy and paste that directly onto this. Bam.
I fucking hate children.
That works so much better.
They look at me like I'm some kind of deadbeat joke, huh? I don't fucking like that.
Well, hello, boys and girls.
Lovely. Wow. Next up, we're going to do the effects. My guess is that the effects are decent. They just need overall volume changing, but we'll see. Attack speed, critical chance is already 10%, which is very, very high. That's not going to be that low attack speed. All right. Let's have a listen to what this is.
I fucking hate children. I can't fucking stand them. They look at me like I'm some kind of deadbeat joke, huh? I don't fucking like that.
Hello, boys and girls.
I fucking hate children. I can't fucking stand them. They look at me like I'm some kind of deadbeat joke, huh? I don't fucking like that.
Hello, boys and girls.
Where was it before? Let's have a look. Oh, 13.5, and had brought it to 13.5. There's no fucking way. I did. Okay, so it's already where it should be.
I fucking hate children. I can't fucking stand them. They look at me like I'm some kind of deadbeat joke, huh? I don't fucking like that.
Hello, boys and girls.
Alright, cool. Let's keep exploring. What's going on over here then, eh? Alright, that's good. Let's literally turn these all off so it's not muddying up anything. Let's make sure that this is right then.
I fucking hate children. I can't fucking stand them. They look at me like I'm some kind of deadbeat joke, huh? I don't fucking like that.
Hello, boys and girls.
Awesome. Yep, let's try this one out.
But what you need to
Alright, great. A little circusy, whatever the fuck that means. Let's have a listen. Alright.
Evelina. We had no. My family came in from Evelina. My family came in from Evelina. My family came in from Evelina. We had nothing in our pocket, huh? I'm a clown for fuck's sake, huh? I used to be working in a steel mill. Now I make.
Cool. It's just effects, you know, sounds. Let's hear what the fuck this is.
Chicago. Bell from Chicago. Come down. Bell from Chicago. Bell from Chicago. Come down here to.
Cool.
Hello, boys and girls. Hello, boys and girls. Hello, boys and girls. Hello, boys and girls.
I come down from Chicago, come down here to perform. My family came in from Evelina. We had nothing in our pocket.
But what you need to remember, boys and girls, is that if you do get out of your seats, I'll find you. Stay in your seats. In your seats. In your seats. In your seats. Hello, boys and girls.
Cool. Clown horny. Alright. Might be about there.
They look at me like 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 some kind of deadbeat joke.
Cool. Symbol riser. Okay, sure.
I make children laugh.
Okay.
I make children laugh. I make children laugh. I make children laugh. I make children laugh. I fucking hate children. I make children laugh. I fucking hate children.
Make it a feeling rather than anything else.
Chicago, come down here to Chicago, come down Chicago, come down here to Chicago, come down here Chicago, come down here Chicago, come down here Chicago, come down here to Chicago, come down here to perform Chicago, come down here to perform Chicago, come down here to perform Chicago, come down here to perform.
Make it a feeling once again. And then there's this one.
I come down from Chicago. I come down from Chicago. Come down from Chicago. Come down here to perform. My family came in from.
All right. I think we're we're done with the mix down. Let me turn off this left right swap mono, and let's have a listen to the whole thing from start to finish. Just awesome sound waves. I'm going to adjust your volume, make sure it's okay.
I fucking hate my life. I come here, I come down from Chicago, come down here to perform. My family came here from Evelina. We had nothing in our pocket, huh? I'm a clown for fuck's sake, huh? I used to be working in a steel mill, now I make children laugh. I fucking hate children. I can't fucking stand them. They look at me like I'm some kind of deadbeat joke, huh? I don't fucking like that.
Well, hello, boys and girls. But what you need to remember, boys and girls, is that if you do get out of your seats, I'll find you. Stay in your seats. Equipment fuel. This is a dildo. No, sorry, that's not part of the act. That's for later. Anyway, what else have we got here? We've got a strap on. No, sorry, it's another part. It's for something else for later. If you stick around, you might be able to catch the other act. So, come to my trailer. Just come to the trailer.
Fantastic, fantastic. Let me collect all and save, and I am happy to say that the mixed down is done. Mixed down complete. Let me save that again. Now that I've written something. Yeah, I'll probably try to finish the mastering tomorrow. Orange means mixed down complete. As of now. Alright, look. Anybody that's still here, thanks for coming down. I'm going to stop the timer and I'm going to call it quits here. Have a nice rest of your day. Maybe I'll be streaming again later on today, but I don't actually know.